In solo leveling, Sung Jin Woo had a group of hunters that he would often go on missions with, and their entire group seemed to split up as a result of the events of the first few episodes. However, when Jin Woo gets back into dungeon raiding after his own private S-rank dungeon, he stumbles upon a raid where it seems like he and all of his friends were destined to be reunited, as he arrives and immediately spots Mr. Song Chi, who, if you recall, was the amazing sword-wielding fire mage from early on. And when he sees Jin Woo, he's absolutely shocked at how much of a change the boy has made, but he's also really confused at how Jin Woo got his limbs back, unlike him. Something we've already explained on the channel, so go check that out. As these two continue walking, they also spot the B-rank healer Joohee, whose name I'm finally getting right, as she cries that they really are all back together again. Now, as they all get ready to head into a dungeon together for the first time since then, we see B-rank hunter Kang Taeshik appearing alongside his group of prisoners that he'll be bringing into this dungeon to try and help them work off their debt to society. But something is truly wrong with this guy, but when everyone enters, it seems like everything is fine as the two groups split up to cover different sides of the cave. We see for a while that the prisoners begin to take out a bunch of goblins as Mr. Song Chi uses his fire powers as he wanders through the area to take out his own group of enemies as well. Now, as Mr. Kim, the traitor from the first few episodes who left everyone behind, starts to feel bad about how he didn't apologize to Jin Woo, he wanders through the dungeon and eventually comes across Kang Taeshik as he beheads the last surviving prisoner, because it seems like his plan was to kill them all and pretend that it was the goblins that did it. However, since there's a witness now, he takes out his dagger and attacks Mr. Kim before speeding out into the main cavern and lunging towards Joohee with an attack that Sung Jin Woo surprisingly blocks. Now, with his true intentions clear in front of our group, Jin Woo tells the healer to attend to the injured as Mr. Song steps forward to protect the entire group from this bloodlusted hunter. Instead of allowing Jin Woo to step in and handle everything alone, Mr. Song Chi wants to take responsibility for leaving everyone behind in the first dungeon and actually steps up after getting buffed by Joohee to use his sword and his fire powers to try and protect them all. Kang leaps right at him, causing him to block his attack using his sword, but immediately the difference between them is obvious, as despite the fact that they're both B class, one of them is an assassin type and the other is a mage type wielding a sword. So naturally, Kang Taeshik, the false ranker, should outclass Song Chi in every way, from speed to strength and even reaction time. This is more or less what we see, as through a number of feints and dodges, Kang just keeps making fun of our magic swordsman before slicing open his shoulder. However, thanks to Joohee's healing, the battle is able to continue. When Kang tries to attack the healer, he's caught off guard by just how good Song Chi is at defending everyone, which finally causes Kang to use his secret stealth skill to go completely invisible as Jin Woo watches on the sidelines ready to step in. Since Kang has started to use his stealth skill paired with his speed to attack the magic swordsman from every angle. As Kang tries to finish him off, out of nowhere a magic circle appears beneath him and erupts into a pillar of fire. However, when this has no effect, it starts to feel really hopeless for everyone in the room, except for Jin Woo, who flies into the way and uses his dagger to knock away Kang's attack, finally joining this fight as he promises that he'll never let another one of his friends die on his watch. And this really pisses Kang off because he has no idea how Jin Woo's even able to see his attacks, let alone block them. This leads to him asking Jin what his rank is, and when Jin Woo responds with his full name saying that he's an E rank, it gets Kang really excited because he really wants to figure out what kind of power this guy has been hiding. Kang reveals to everyone that Jin Woo must have reawakened if his power is suddenly so high after years of being pathetic, but instead of being scared of this realization, he thinks to himself that this must mean Jin doesn't have much experience with his new abilities, so he'll have to teach him a lesson as he chops him down. Jin Woo wonders why he's even doing this, as Kang explains that he got paid $3 billion to take out the prisoners and all of the hunters inside, since one of the prisoners traumatized a rich man's daughter. Because of this, he tells the others to promise that they won't speak of this and he'll even let them go, but Jin Woo says, yeah right, your face says you really want to show us who's boss, as the two of them begin to clash their blades in a flash, as lightning starts to surge from our main character's eyes, and with everyone behind him, he begins a battle against a hunter really not that different from himself, at least in the way that he fights and the weapons that he uses. We see Kang screaming that Jin Woo probably hasn't gone up that many ranks from E since his reawakening, as he sends a flurry of slashes down trying to break Jin Woo's dagger, but as Jin Woo times a perfect slash and thinks that he cut through Kang, behind him he hears too slow as he picks up his speed to match Kang in a series of clashes in the air. Now, at the beginning of this battle, Kang continues to show how excited he is that he's actually able to fight someone at his level, as he makes an insane face while Jin thinks that their speed is evenly matched. But in that moment, we see Kang's smile completely fade away as their healer applies haste and other buffs to Jin Woo, making him even faster as this battle gets serious. These two tear a path through the entire cave, bouncing off of each other and walls, of neither of them being able to get significant damage on the other, but as they get close to the group of their fight, Kang sends one of his daggers flying towards the healer. It's eventually deflected by Mr. Song Chi, but that doesn't really matter as it still buys Kang enough time to finally hit Jin Woo with a multitude of slashes all across his body. But to everyone's surprise, Jin Woo looks completely undamaged despite looking a little tired, as Kang comments on just how durable he is for an assassin type, while the man tries to piece together just what class Jin Woo even is, like a fun puzzle during the battle. The issue is that Kang is so bloodthirsty here just like during the battle against the lizards, he's activated Jin Woo's emergency quest system, and now Jin Woo has no choice but to kill this man or else his heart will stop, as this truly becomes a battle of life and death, and it won't be nearly as easy as last time. He gets serious and the two clash again in the center of the dungeon, but Jin Woo kicks it up a notch as he activates his dash skill to increase his speed by 30%, allowing him to now easily blitz Kang and knock him around a little as he cuts the side of Kang's cheek as a warning, but it just so happens that his bleed and paralysis weapon skills both activate at the same time, completely confusing the B-rank hunter who has no idea just what's going on. Eventually he realizes that Jin has to be capable of using skills and that his dagger also has some interesting effects of its own, but once he shakes off the paralysis, he uses his own stealth skill to go completely invisible, but even like this, Jin Woo is still able to block one of his attacks. This changes quickly as Kang swoops in and cuts one of Jin Woo's tendons, forcing him to kneel down on the ground. It's here where Kang finally reveals himself again now that he thinks he's safe, because it would take really powerful healing magic to fix that, but Jin Woo shocks everyone when he heals himself back up to full with a quest reward. Jin Woo stands in the middle of the dungeon and uses his high sense score to actually counter one of Kang's invisible attacks, leading to Kang finally understanding that Jin is like him and he's actually ended a human's life before. So this causes Kang to unleash his full power and speed. However, when he does, Jin Woo with one hand blocks all of his attacks and causes him to try a head-on assault. This was clearly a bad idea as Jin Woo activates his bloodlust ability to send a shockwave of fear directly into Kang's heart that makes him start to hallucinate himself in a dark world with Jin Woo's eyes and dark presence weighing down on him. While he's stunned like this for just a moment, he sees something moving towards him for a split second as he feels Jin Woo's dagger pierce his heart and its effects start to take root in his body. He asks Jin Woo just what is he and says that he lost fair and square, so he'll have to accept it. However, Jin Woo replies that he doesn't really know what he is anymore and maybe everyone else's way of classifying hunters doesn't really apply to him. However, there's a bigger issue that Jin Woo needs to worry about. The B-rank hunter tells Jin Woo that he'll no longer be able to hide his powers after killing him, which means that Jin Woo is truly in danger since the world is going to want to know about his reawakening. Jin Woo tells Kang that he's a hunter that gets stronger from every fight and questions him on how powerful he thinks someone like him can become, with Kang finally starting to die as he says that Jin Woo's shadow is connected to the darkness, so he'll become as strong as his shadow's depth in the dark, meaning that in this moment he thinks Jin Woo has limitless potential. As Kang dies, the reward window for the emergency quest comes up and gives Jin Woo a +5 to any stat he wants, but in this moment Jin Woo feels like he's glad that he got stronger from this experience, but somewhere in the process he feels like he's losing something inside every time he does. Like maybe somewhere in his heart there's something being slipped away, as time and time again Jin Woo has to kill his emotions to evolve, and the more that he embraces his darkness, the more powerful it seems like he'll become. After experiencing the chaos of having to fight B-rank hunter Kang Taeshik and the whole insect dungeon around him, it's finally time for Sung Jin Woo to level up to level 27, so let's keep tracking his stats like we have been. As first, Jin Woo increases his strength to a total of 72, and it seems like he's pretty happy with how strong he is as he raises his agility more to 82, which makes sense because even with his dash skill, he was only sorta able to keep up with the B-class hunter, and I'd want to get way faster too. Beyond this, his sensibility has now been raised to 69, nice, and that's likely to help him sense any invisible enemies that he comes across now that he has some experience in dealing with that and knows how important it is. But one thing that he doesn't understand the importance of is his intelligence score, which still rests at a low 39, and speaking of low scores, I get that he can use his status heals to bring himself back up to full health, but keeping the vitality score at 43 only gives him a total of just over 5,000 health, so he's gonna have to pump those numbers up. The best thing he got from this level up was the stealth ability that allows him to go completely invisible himself, which is gonna be useful in the next dungeon.